Rub it together because we don't want to have a hard.
I think it's someone's birthday today. Say what? Yeah! I think it's Allie's birthday today. Are you 4? Oh my gosh! 4! That's so fun! Look at my crown! Allie! Happy birthday! Woo! 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 I love you. Oh, I lost my crown so much.
Hey Nellie, we really like the verses that you got us.
And I really love your puppy that you got me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, you want to show her how you can swim?
This is me at Disney World in the park.
You're at Give Kids the World.
Yeah!
Faith, it's Nellie and Teeny. You haven't met Teeny yet, so I wanted you to meet him. He's very cute and fluffy, as you can see. And I just wanted to tell you, oh, he's tired. I just wanted to tell you I had so much fun hanging out with you the other day, and I really, really want to do that girls' night or girls' day. So I hope you're feeling better from your chemo from the other day, and hopefully I'll see you very soon at the photo shoot, perhaps. Can't wait to see you. I miss you already. Say bye, Teeny. Ruff, 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 ruff.
This is a flower my brother and sister found just laying around in the yard.
Yeah?
We don't know how or when it got chopped.
What kind of flower is it? Do you know?
I don't know.
A tulip.
A tulip.
Mm-hmm. Turn it this way so she can see the inside. Yeah. Okay. Did you like Teeny?
Teeny is very soft. She looks very fluffy.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to meet Teeny someday?
Yes.
Are you looking forward to your girls' day with Nellie?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you want to tell her good night?
Good night.
And blow her a
Good
kiss?
night.
Blow her a kiss?
Let it go. Let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go. Let it go. Turn away, slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. Cold never bothers me anyway. And what do you want to be when you grow up? 46.
Grayson, if you want these, do you want these or you?
I already have some here. I want to be a doctor. A doctor. Wait, I want to be a doctor. A dentist.
Okay. I want to be an actress, a singer, and a fashion designer.
Well, I want to either work in human services or be a singer or be a lawyer.
Huh?
I want to be an entrepreneur.
Like my sister, I done on it.
I want to be either a singer or a fashion designer.
She's starting dancer.
Olympic swimmer.
A football player.
Yeah.
A fashion designer.
I want to be a cosmetologist.
Dentist.
A dentist?
I'm a video game designer or producer. I want to be a famous actor or singer and be on Broadway.
I want to be a singer or an actress.
An artist. Sleepy Beauty.
A professional volleyball player or a model when I grow up.
I don't really know.
I'm hoping to go study like zoology and be like a veterinarian or a vet tech.
I'd like to be an artist. A flight nurse. Probably to help animals. A teacher.
Wrestler.
I want to be an actress.
Yeah?
But my mom seems to think that I need like a plan B, so maybe I'll be a friend in $5, or maybe I'll play in movies.
A princess.
You want to be a princess?
A cowboy. I want to be a teacher.
Yeah?
Because, like, I've had some mean teachers, and I don't like having mean teachers, so I want to be like a fun teacher.
I want to be a veterinarian.
You could say it.
I don't know what I want to be.
A cosmetic chemist.
I have, like, my top two.
Yeah?
An architect or an engineer. I want to be a creative writer, and I want to be an author. A Lego designer.
Doctor. Artist.
I would like to be a pediatrician when I get older.
A singer. A rock star.
A
And
rock
the backup plan is a doctor.
Ah.
I'm not pretty sure.
I'd like to be the first female president.
A famous soccer player.
I think it'd be interesting to be a lawyer.
I want to be like Captain America.
I kind of wanted to be a video game creator.
A soccer player. I would like to work in a zoo and help sick animals. Famous. A veterinarian.
I want to be a baseball player.
I would like to be a basketball player. I want to be a vet or a music teacher.
I want to major in something in the music industry.
Either like a singer or a model.
A ballerina? I don't know yet. I want to be a teacher.
Firefighter, maybe. I do want to do something for the world, though. I want to give something. And I just really want to do something like Nellie's doing, and share that cause with the world, because it's really an amazing thing to do. I want to be like Nellie. I want to help people, and I want to make a difference in the world. I want to be like Nellie.
I want to be like Nellie. I want to be able to make a difference like Nellie is.
This is already the 8th year. So I want to go ahead and recognize models from past years. So if you've modeled at least once in our fashion show, please take a stand. So I know not everyone was at the last meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go through my mind and give you guys some updates. But after the updates, if you guys have any questions, or for people that were here last meeting, and if I forgot anything, just chime in. Okay, so updates. Let's see. We are almost sold out of tickets. We have less than 500 tickets left, and they haven't even gone on sale yet. Our models are fabulous. We had a model meeting at the beginning of March, and they just blew us away. They bought so many tickets, and they're still coming in to buy tickets, so we have one more model Monday that they can come in, and then they go live next Tuesday, which is super exciting. We are up to $25,000 of what we've raised so far.
And this was, how old was she? She was 4 here. This is with her little baby doll. She just carried that baby doll, remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Baby dolls, fashion shows, always helpful. Always wanted to help her mom, anybody. She had a good heart. You know, I think she still does.
Yes, she does.
She was always trying to help somebody. You know, it's carried on through her life now.
Through NC4K.
Yeah.
My name is Nellie Krumloff, and I am the president and founder of NC4K. NC4K stands for Nellie's Catwalk for Kids, and we are a nonprofit organization that helps make life a little bit easier for kids and teens battling cancer. The actual journey of Nellie's Catwalk for Kids started 8 years ago, but I always say it started way before that because of my grandma. My grandma Goldie was my best friend. Every time my mom would drop me off at her house, I would run into her closet, put her jewelry on and her shoes that didn't fit me.
She'd get dressed up in different things. She used to wear a lot of your mom's makeup or jewelry that her mother used to make. And I think she still has a lot of that too. Yes. I know you do too.
Yes, I do.
And
a lot of pens.
She had a lot of fun. Dress up.
It was just something special that it was just between her and I. At first, I really didn't even know what cancer meant, nor did I know what I was about to do to my grandma or our entire family.
The kids, we explained to them, you know, this is just a part of living.
Within a matter of months, I mean, it was too late. There wasn't any treatment plans back then that would save her, and we were basically talking about quality of life at that point. And so hospice then got brought up, and as a family we decided we didn't want to put her in a nursing home or the hospital. We wanted her to be in our house. And so I volunteered my room, cleared out all my Barbies, cleared out my bed because the hospital bed was coming in, and that's when it visually and emotionally got real for me.
All the children were just so supportive, and it was an everyday thing as soon as they came home from school.
Show her my Barbies and tell her about my school day. And the special thing about her, even though she was going through so much, she didn't want to talk about it. She just wanted to be a grandma. She didn't want to talk about cancer or, you know, how she was feeling that day. And we don't have a lot of pictures of her because she didn't want to be remembered in that way. And so, the last Christmas that she spent with us, on her deathbed, she's telling my mom what to get all of us because she wanted to make sure we still had something from her. And so we're, you know, sitting around her hospital bed and, you know, ripping through the wrapping paper, and we're all opening our gifts, and mine was a red dress. And that was really special to me because I thought, man, maybe I can put on, you know, one of our fashion shows, even by her bedside. And a few days after Christmas, we said goodbye to my grandma. When I was a sophomore, my teachers started talking about what school are you going to go to? What are you going to major in when you go to college? What are you going to be for the rest of your life? I became so obsessed with, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? All the jewelry that my grandma and I used to share, I got all of that. Of course, I called dibs. And so I got all of that, and I was just going through it one night, and I wear a lot of her pieces still to this day, and I was going through it, and I just started going back to those times before cancer, and they just made me smile. And I thought, you know what, I'm done being angry at this word cancer. I don't want to be angry anymore. I would love to, you know, remember my grandma and give back. And it just lit a spark, and I began to become obsessed with whatever this idea was forming into. And so over time it molded into, okay, how about a fashion show? And let's help somebody. You know, let's donate the proceeds. We can charge for ticket sales. We can have a silent auction. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I did some formal research, and I typed cancer into Google and found a couple links on breast cancer and ovarian cancer and even lung cancer. And then the next link that I see in front of me, it has the words children and cancer in the same sentence. And at age 16, I had no idea that kids were even getting cancer.
She was 4.5 when I found her cancer.
She was about 16 months.
When Corbin was first born, he moved his legs, but it wasn't till he was about 6 months old that we noticed. We were actually at our church, and we noticed that he wasn't really at the same pace where all the other kids were at his age. He could move his legs, but he didn't have full range of motion.
So originally he was diagnosed when he was 4.5 because leukemia. Okay. And we are about 1.5 years post-diagnosis. He was diagnosed in January 2013.
Well, Nathan has NF, and so, you know, it's just it's a continuous journey. He finished his year of chemo in May.
5? Yeah, it was in October, so I was in 2006.
She was 5.
This was December 5th, 2011, when she was diagnosed. On December 7th, 2011, she had a liver biopsy just to confirm diagnosis and to place report. On December 12th, we did the first round of chemo. So it was like bam, 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 bam.
When she was first diagnosed.
He actually was born with it, so he developed it while I was pregnant with him. We didn't know about it beforehand, so it was the moment he was born. It was right there, couldn't miss it. He was misdiagnosed. They called it a hemangioma, which it was not. So we didn't actually get the diagnosis of what it was till he was 3 months old.
I started clicking on all these links with girls with no hair, kids with ports coming out of their chest for chemo, and I was disturbed. I've always wanted to do something with kids, and it got me angry again at the word cancer, and I thought, this isn't fair. These kids should be living their lives. They should be out swimming, riding their bikes, going to Disney World, doing what kids are supposed to be doing.
So we're laying on her bed, and she's always been a belly rub kid, and I'm rubbing her belly and found a lump underneath her rib cage. And I really didn't think anything of it because there was no other signs or symptoms, and just on that motherly gut instinct, I thought I better take her in to see the doctor.
I came home from work on a Tuesday, and I just picked her up like I always do. And I thought, oh, I just felt a bump, like right below her rib cage. So I laid her on the couch. I said, Nathan, I just felt a bump that wasn't there on Sunday because they gave her a bath and put lotion on her. It was not there on Sunday. I would have noticed this. She, around Christmas time, started just vomiting, like maybe once a day. She was fine, was playing normally, and then vomit and go back to playing. Not fussy, never complained. I mean, she was so tiny, but she was, a pretty happy little one, and I guess they're typically developing.
Luke was really sick when we were first diagnosed. He had a white blood cell count of like 180,000, and normal is like 5 to 10,000. And some kids have upwards of 500 to 600,000 when they're first diagnosed.
I was deployed the first time. I was in Iraq.
They requested that we see a specialist, which then they said take him to children.
So I took her into the doctor on a Thursday, and she sent us over to Children's close to home for an x-ray. She felt it. She was feeling it for like 20 minutes. Allie didn't act like it hurt or anything like that. And she called me at like 6 o'clock that night, and she said, "Are you alone?" And I said, "Well, I have the kids. My husband's at work." And she was like, "Well, there is something there, but it's bigger than we anticipated. Allison has a large tennis ball sized mass on the right side of her upper quadrant."
To me, it didn't look like a hemangioma, because those are like that bright reddish, almost purple color, and they're kind of mushy. His was it became more flesh toned. It was solid, it was hard, and it was hot. So it wasn't a hemangioma. So I kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing. His pediatrician finally sent me to see a general surgeon, and he looked at him for seriously less than a minute. Left the room and came back and was like, "You have an appointment with oncology this afternoon."
The weird part was he wasn't moving his legs, but his toes and his feet were moving.
And she said, "I'm sending you downtown for further testing." When she said that, and she said, I ruled out leukemia and something else, and I'm sending you downtown for further, I knew something was wrong at that point.
We thought it was going to be something like low muscle tone.
The pediatrician said, "Let's just get a brain scan." I know that sounds really weird, but sometimes vomiting can be a sign of brain swelling or injury.
When he got his biopsy, it caused the tumor to swell a little bit, and he lost all movement.
They scheduled his MRI and his biopsy and all that, and they tried to give us, it may be nothing, but they had that look in their face, like, we're pretty sure this is gonna come back with not good results.
And the pediatrician called and said, your insurance company is not going to pay for a brain scan. They don't deem it necessary.
There is a very good possibility that they could come back and tell us it's cancer.
So we drove to the hospital, just the two of us in our pajamas. Daddy had gone to work. One of the technicians said, "If you can just come to the back for me, I have a phone call for you."
About 1:30 in the morning, 4 doctors walked into the room. She was sound asleep on, the little table, and they said, "We suspect your daughter has Wilms tumor." And the worst news you ever want to hear.
And they came and, you know, I have a friend that works, she did work at the radiology department at Children's main campus. So I on Friday, I thought about it all night long Thursday. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. It's like, what's wrong with my child? So I called her, it was like Friday evening, I finally got the nerve up, and I said, Tara, please call me back as soon as you can. So she called me back, and I told her what had happened. So she called her boss, the guy who reads the x-rays, and he told her what she had already before even the CAT scan was done. And so I knew on Friday that my daughter had cancer.
And when I answered the phone, it was her pediatrician. And she said, I'm so sorry. And I said, no, that's okay. You know, I understand that you were just being cautious. And she said, no, I'm so sorry. She has a massive brain tumor. Someone's coming to talk to you right now. And I just remember looking at Violet, and she was so little and so happy. And I just kept thinking, there's no way that this is happening. And then when I started to see the faces around me, I could read that there was a lot of, that we were in trouble.
Samuel was diagnosed with a rhabdomyosarcoma, but that was like the worst weekend of my life, to sit and, you know, get confirmation on that.
So it took about 2 weeks for the pathology to come back, and then it came back inconclusive, so they couldn't tell us.
It's a tumor of the soft tissue, like the muscle fibers.
Our journey started very, very quickly. It was very urgent, and we went from you know, finding out to getting the port put in to having chemo within a week and a half.
So the tumor was on his spine. It was wrapped around his spinal cord. So that's why he didn't have the movement in his legs. It was basically, it ran the length of midway down his spine all the way down.
The thing about NF is that the nature of the disorder is that, you know, Nathan's body can't stop tumors from growing.
And then they set us in this hallway with 2 chairs, all by herself.
Nobody was reassuring. Nobody was saying it's going to be okay. Everyone was looking at me with sad.
They gave me a pamphlet full of information and said, you know, that's what we think this is. And they took me out to see her x-ray, and they showed me how big the tumor was. It was from here to here. So they said the doctor will be in the morning, and, you know, we'll go from there.
Allie had stage 3 hepatoblastoma, and that is a rare liver cancer commonly found in children.
Okay.
Like 1 in a million.
When the neurosurgeon came, he said, we'll take her to surgery first thing in the morning.
So she said, pack a bag because you will be staying.
So then we had to have a orthopedic surgeon come in and try and take out the whole tumor.
Wow.
So, and they told us that they may have to cut his ligaments and tendons in his foot to get the tumor out, and then he wouldn't be able to use his foot.
Most of the doctors told us that they just had no idea what would happen, except for one. One told us that he would never walk, he would never move his legs again.
Make yourself comfortable. And they had a metal cage for my daughter, and I said, you need to, I'm not putting her in that.
What is that for?
It's a crib. It's their cribs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's awful. It's the most awful looking thing ever. So I said, you're gonna have to bring her a normal bed.
No one comes in and hugs you and says, it's going to be okay. They all say, brace yourself. You're probably going to lose your child.
It was so much to deal with, you know, and everyone's giving you information, and it's so overwhelming.
Couldn't sleep, got a stack of papers that I'm supposed to try to read, and you're looking at this normal 4.5-year-old that shouldn't be laying here. She should be home in bed.
So when they said we're going to take her for brain surgery first thing in the morning, and she could potentially not survive the surgery, it's a very real possibility. I just had such a hard time with handing a perfect baby over to a brain surgeon. And then when we got her back, she was unrecognizable. I mean, his body was really trying to fight off the cancer. Anyway, so I was laying there in the bed, and I was holding him really tight because the beds up there in PICU are big enough that the mother or parent can sleep with the child. And so we were sleeping, and it was close to midnight, and he had woken up, and I was holding him, like we were spooning each other, and so I was holding him like right here, and I was laying on my side, and he was laying on his side. And he turned over, and he's like, "Mom, I have to go to the bathroom." And I'm like, "Okay, buddy, hold on, let me get you out." He's like, "No, seriously, I have to go, you have to let me go." And I'm like, "I'm trying." And I don't know if it was because I couldn't move or because our bodies were just laying in that position, but I couldn't unwrap my arms around him. And as I kept trying, he's saying, "Seriously, Mom, I have to go to the bathroom, let me up." It's almost like the grip got tighter and tighter. And I physically heard a voice that said, "Fear not. This is just an event that he has to go through. It's a season of life. I will be with you the entire time. Sometimes you'll feel like you're alone, but I will be with you. And there's a purpose, and he is going to be completely healed." And I was like, kind of shocked that I had heard this, and it was just a whisper, you know, and I was looking around. I physically thought somebody was in the room. And he said, "Now get up." And I was like, okay. So I got up, and Luke went to the bathroom, and I walked out in the hall, and I was like, "Woo!" And the nurses are like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, he's gonna be fine. When are we going down, or when do we go to our room? Because we need to fight this. Let's move. And they're like, "Well, Mrs. Vinner, it's midnight, so why don't you just hang here, and in the morning we'll get you to your room." And the next day, like, his white blood cell count had come way down.
He went through 52 weeks of chemotherapy treatment, and then he was off treatment for just under a year, and then he had a recurrence that was very significantly more physically distressing, physically intense. So we were in the hospital for about 6 weeks when he was 6.5 then at that point.
She was in brain surgery for 16 hours.
You know, it all happened so fast, and you just go through this journey.
The initial first 48 hours was very shocking because they were saying if she survives surgery, if this is this type, you know, if it's this type, there's really nothing we can do. We'll go in and find that it's this type, we'll close up, and you might have a year. If she wakes up, if there were so many ifs.
Next thing you know, you're at the cancer clinic. You know, your kid's having, and you're seeing all the other kids. It's heartbreaking.
And they told me they almost lost him on the table. His heart rate dropped, and they had to bring in the team to get him back. And so we spent the night in the ICU.
And I remember looking at my mom and saying, "Violet doesn't have clothes here. We need to go buy her something to wear." And the nurse looked at me and she said, "Oh, honey, I wouldn't spend that money. I don't think that she's going to come out of the hospital alive."
The only good thing about having cancer is you do not wait in the emergency room.
With NF, there's no change in the tumor. So basically, we're back to where we started in the beginning. You know, the tumor's the same size. Actually, it's a little bigger than it was in the beginning because it had grown. The first 3 months of treatment, the treatment wasn't stopping it, and so it continued to grow and spread, and he became allergic to his first round of chemo.
Because we had some medicine chemo mix-ups, and so I made sure every time they went to put something in her tube, what is it? And then when she came home, I was flushing tubies that were going directly into her heart. And like you said, I became a nurse, and you just do it so subconsciously that there was a day I was doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm injecting medicine into my baby's heart. One day this girl came in, and I was getting ready to leave for the day, and she came in, and she said, "I'm going to give her microphone. I'll never forget this. Her microfungal." And I said, "Oh, that's an awful big tube. Usually it comes in a really small tube." And she stopped, and she looked, and she's like, "Okay, wait a minute." So she goes over to her little station, and she goes, "I'm sorry, I got my M's mixed up." Okay, so that's number one. Strike. That's number one. I will always check from now on. And then 2 days later, no, it was Allie's next round of chemo. Because we had to wait a month and a half because the first one she didn't do well on. So we waited a month and a half to start the second round of chemo, and they said, "We can't wait any longer. We have to get this in her." And the Red Devil, doxorubicin, she said this will go over 15 minutes. And she left the room and the thing beeped. Not even 15 seconds later. And I called, I said, something's wrong with your machine and there's no chemo in the bag. So I freaked out because they just pushed this really heavy toxin that kills the heart into my daughter, not the way they were supposed to. And they both checked it. And she said, I'm so sorry. And I said, I accept your apology, but I cannot have you treat my daughter anymore. I can't have you be her nurse. I can't. I'm sorry. She was like, I'm so sorry. I said, I understand that you're sorry, but I have to protect her. That's what I'm here for.
Right at the end is after her last treatment. I took her for a mother-daughter day, and we were getting our nails done and toenails, and she all of a sudden started striking up a fever, and anytime your child gets a fever when they go through chemo, it's not good.
So you open this big book and you're like, okay, well, she's getting this chemo. So you read over it and you're like, oh my gosh, all these side effects. And then they say, oh, but it hardly ever happens. Or if they do get them, you get one or two. You don't get them all. Allie got every single side effect to every single chemo that they gave her. It was ridiculous. We spent the whole entire treatment, and it was from first chemo to 9th chemo. We were in there the whole time. We didn't come home for a month and then go back. It was we were home for 2 days, she got a fever, we had to go back. And we were always in isolation because she always had fevers.
And next thing I know, my daughter's BP is 54/30. She's like a noodle in my arm and falling over and throwing up, and the nurse is panicking, and again here comes 4 or 5 doctors rushing in, and then they're rushing us to another room, and they're like, your daughter she's septic. And I'm like, what's that mean? I've heard it before, but I wasn't sure. And next thing I know, we're in PICU, and she's fighting for her life.
When my baby was learning how to walk in a hospital hallway with an IV pole, and she was skin and bones and was, vomiting and was so sick, I would look at her and I would say to my mom, if someone had shown me this snapshot, I would have fallen on the floor. I never would have been able to cope with that snapshot. But then to see her now, if I could have a snapshot at that point.
Our daily life right now is dealing with some of the side effects that was caused by the cancer. We have problems with nerve damage. So he actually cannot feel the bottom of his right foot. Okay. The sensitivity there is very minimal. He can feel some stuff, but you have to be pushing hard, or it takes him a while to feel it. So as a result of that, we're having issues with him rolling his foot over. So then he has to get braced for his ankle, and it seems to be affecting his whole leg. So we've been trying to figure out a brace because he's so small. They don't really have braces for him that fit his needs. So we've been battling that, trying to figure out what we can do for that. And then he has nerve damages that is causing his bladder not to work properly.
Okay. And his intestines.
And his intestines. So we have to cath him every 4 hours.
Catheterize him.
And then I found the research side of it and found out that it's the least funded type of cancer. Our national government only funds 4% of their research dollars towards childhood cancers. There's more than one.
Breast cancer gets like 20-something% almost. And that's just one. And we have to share this measly little less than 4% amongst everything.
Children's cancer is under the, veil of childhood cancer. I mean, there's so many different ones, and they're all different, So I can see, so really the percentage of
it's a huge amount of kids that are diagnosed every year. You know, it's like 238,000 kids a year. But if you break it down to what different kind of cancer, I think that's why it kind of gets overlooked, because if there's really only 20-some thousand for neuroblastoma a year, you know, then what company is going to really make big bucks helping that?
4%, that doesn't cut it.
It's shattering to me.
And it's the #1 leading cause of death by disease for children. Now, I'm not the smartest girl out there, but I thought if it's the #1 leading cause of death for children, but yet there's not enough funding, why is there not enough people doing stuff for these kids, raising money, raising awareness?
Because there's no money for research, so our kids are getting these drugs that are just dangerous and awful and do these awful side effects when they need these safer treatments. And they say that funding for pediatric cancer is non-profitable.
It's weird because it's like they're overlooking it, but they try to say that they have a good reason for it. So it's not like they're overlooking it and they feel guilty about it. It's just, oh, there's not enough for that to be important, which I think is weird.
Children are our future. Their life. They're amazing.
Yeah, the future of the country, and they're not doing anything to make sure we're still there.
In my opinion, all cancer should be funded equally. No cancer should have a treatment that's like worse than another cancer's treatment. I think they all should be the same funding.
Our kids are so much more worth than 4%. They deserve so much better. We can do so much better.
I think that they should have more funding.
Well, it's like women took over for breast cancer. They were like, we're going to fight for ourselves. Our kids can't do that. No one listens to their tiny little voices. So as their parents, as their moms, their dads, their uncles, we have to stand up and we have to say, no, it has to change, and it has to change now.
Well, we decided to lobby for Cure Search in June of 2008, which is now what they have, like the pediatric cancer caucus, or whatever they're calling it now. Is like it's the same thing, except you just go down there and you're supposed to talk to the people and sort of like testify on what's happening with kids with cancer. And we had Hannah and Eden with us in 2008, and we were trying to lobby for the Conquer Childhood Cancer Act to be signed. And then when they decided to sign it, into a bill, they asked us to come to the signing in the Oval Office.
You start to feel like nobody cares. Yeah. You just are locked up in a tower in the hospital, and you feel like everyone else goes about their lives, and we're just kind of in this on our own.
And it never got funded. So, we were like we made it for the picture, and that's all that ended up being, really.
I know that the NF Foundation had gone to Washington with a petition this spring and had asked for funding for NF, and it was turned down. And when I went to see his geneticist in May, his geneticist said, I really wish I could tell you more about his condition, but there's nothing we can tell you. There's no way to know what's going to happen to him.
The Gabriella Miller, I believe, she was a brain tumor. That's what she was diagnosed with, and that's the new. No one's going to vote against the bill that's supposed to help pediatric cancer, but we all know anything about the government. A bill doesn't mean that anything's going to happen from it. I'm just a bill. So that's what frustrates me, is you could take the picture where we were there, and you can take the picture where her mother's there and the other people there, and you can put them side by side, and that is now, 6 years ago, and nothing ever happened with it. And all they were asking for was $1 million.
And the fact that the last drug developed for children is over 20 years old.
Yeah.
I talked to a family that's going through chemo for their daughter is going through chemo for the same type of cancer he had. 10 years later, same treatment. Nothing has changed in 10 years.
I asked him about the funding, and he said unfortunately, you know, it was turned down, and it's more, you know, it's because, quite frankly, you know, it's not affecting anyone in Congress.
You know, the future with research and everything, you know, that's what we can hope for, is that whatever, you know, Hannah went through with her treatment, that they now have documented with the pediatric oncology group, what Eden went through, what they banked from her tumor, you know, what the research for the future, that's the one way her legacy can kind of live on, is that we don't want it to be lost, that she went through all that to not have something better determined from it. And I think that's what's hard as parents, is that when you're taking your child to treatment and you're sitting there questioning, is any of this even going to be what works and what's going to keep her with us, you know, and they trust you and they're just going along with whatever you're going to do. So, you know, the research is a huge part of it too.
But think back to medicine 10 years ago to what it is now. We now have vaccines for chickenpox. I mean, things like the flu and stuff like that used to be so devastating. I mean, it still kills people every year, but we keep getting all these medical advances, and people that used to like dread the flu are now like, oh, you just have the flu. But treatment hasn't changed in over a decade for these kids.
It sucks. And it really shows you what people think of our generation.
When first time I heard of it, I was out in the garage working. I just got home from work, and Nellie pulled up and she said, "Dad, I think I know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to have a fashion show." And I said, "Oh, okay, that sounds great." I didn't know what she really meant. And she goes, and she started explaining what she wanted to do, and I said, "Well, you're going to have a place to do it."
And I'm like, I know.
And I'm going to go in there and talk to them, see if I can get it for free. I said, "You go, girl." She came back about an hour or two later, and she goes, "Guess what?" I said, "What?" She goes, "We got the space."
And so I just started planning and found a fashion show venue, found a DJ, found a photographer, and little by little, everything was falling into place. We had this awesome donor that was so selfless, and she lost her husband to a different illness, and she just wrote me a $1,000 check and said, "I believe in you. You go, girl." So I am here at Big Lots headquarters, and I'm about to meet with the community relations person, Jeremy Ball, which I've met with him several times, and they have already been a wonderful sponsor of ours. But I really want to continue that relationship, so that's what this meeting is about. I'm a little nervous, but he's so easy to talk to, so I'm just gonna, as soon as I get in, I'm fine. But I really, really want them to be our presenting sponsor for the fashion show, or in September when we do our awareness campaign. I just really want them to be a continued sponsor. So hopefully it goes well and we can continue working with them, because, you know, they're such a credible name, and it would only, you know, make NC4K that much greater. So here we go! A lot of my friends I begged to be in the fashion show, and there was just one piece missing. I thought we needed somebody local that was being affected by childhood cancer, and so through the grapevine I got connected with Eden Adams.
Nellie contacted me one day at work. This was about 6 months after Eden was diagnosed, and said that she wanted Eden to be in a fashion show. And I was a little shocked by getting called at work by somebody that I didn't know wanting Eden to be in a fashion show and didn't know how this was all going to work out. And I was like, okay, I'll have to call you back. We'll do this, but we need more details. And so Eden was actually Nellie's first model.
It's different reading about kids on the internet or following them on Facebook. When you meet a child face to face, it changes your whole life. And when I first met her, it was at a park. We were doing a fun photo shoot for all the models, and she didn't have any hair. She had hearing aids because of the chemo was taking her hearing, and she had a port, but she didn't want to talk about anything that had to do with cancer. She just wanted to be a kid. We were running around naming the ducks that were in the pond at the park, and that's when it really woke me up and said, this is why I wanted to do this. This is the whole reason. And so she was the star at the fashion show. I mean, when she walked out, we sprayed that bald head with sparkly glitter, and she had the cutest dress on and jewelry, and it gave her an opportunity just to forget about cancer, even if it was for a day. And that's when my whole life changed.
The very first time the fashion show happened, he told me about it, and I said, absolutely not. You know, I was like, you know, she was in a very delicate point with her treatment, you know, just day to day, you didn't know how it was going to be, so how could you commit for sure to do it? And the amount of time and everything like that. And I was still trying to keep Hannah in a bubble. But Rourke was at the point where it was like he was trying to also just have as much fun with her as he possibly could too, you know. So it was like that's what he was there to kind of teach me, was like you can't protect them forever, basically, and to like also take advantage of things that are fun like that.
At the first fashion show, that was gonna be it. I didn't even know what a 501c3 nonprofit was at the time, and I didn't really want the responsibility of having, I just wanted to have fun. And so we teamed up with Nationwide Children's Hospital, and we were gonna donate the money to them, and I was just gonna go on with, you know, my high school years and go off to college and just go on down a different journey. And Eden, after the fashion show, came up to me and she started talking about next fashion show, what she wanted to wear, if she could walk with a boy. And I couldn't look at her and tell her, no, I'm sorry, Eden, this is it. I couldn't break her heart, because I thought, if this girl can fight cancer day in and day out, I can plan a fashion show. We can plan a fashion show. It seems pretty easy when you compare the two. And so I made a promise to her that night, and I wasn't sure how I was gonna keep it because I barely pulled this one off. But that didn't matter, because I thought, we can do this. We did one, we can do another.
We actually did it the second year for the first time with Hannah. And at that point, Eden was not able to do the last fashion show. So.
As the fashion show is getting closer, the second fashion show, I call Eden's dad just to kind of confirm things and let him know what's going on. And, you know, at that point, he said, I can't promise you if she can be there. You know, at this point, we're trying to save our daughter. Children's Hospital, there's nothing more that they can do. We're flying all over, getting clinical trials, and just trying to save our daughter. She wasn't able to be at the second fashion show, and that broke my heart, because I did it for her. I ultimately did it for her. I would have not done it if she would have not said, what about next year? What about next fashion show? And so that was hard, but the first fashion show we raised $3,000 and we jumped to $11,000. So during senior year, I'm not only planning a fashion show again, the third fashion show, but trying to enjoy my senior year.
Well, at the time, we hadn't merged as families yet. So I was looking to Riley, which, you know, he was 13 going on 14 at the time. So I still had to provide and take care of Riley. And then still look forward, you know, to being with them, you know, even though we were maintaining two different households. So I was just, okay, I still have to take care of Riley. So if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of Riley.
I was working a couple jobs at the time, and one night when I was working, I get this call from a number that I don't know, and I answered it, and all I can remember from that conversation were the words, Eden didn't make it. And for a second, and even probably for the whole evening, it didn't sink in. Because never did I doubt that she wouldn't make it. I thought, this girl is so strong. She's already beaten it once. She's gonna beat it again. I need her. I can't lose her. And I can't even imagine as a parent them losing their daughter.
Everybody was worried about each other. You know, like I was, you know, trying to just kind of be the person to take care of Rourke. You know, the kids were worried about Rourke. You know, we were worried about Riley. Riley was worried about his dad. You know, but at the same time, in the beginning, you know, I did exactly what you weren't supposed to do, is just kind of pretend they're gone for a little bit. And it was actually more of a calm situation in our life day to day. Because for what had been going on for so long, you know, because Hannah and Eden had about a 3-month window where they were both doing really well, you know, and then it was kind of like they crossed paths, and that's when Eden started to not do as well, and she was starting to get better. So looking back on it, those first 3 days were actually like able to be really calm. because we weren't having to go and run and get platelets and, you know, what's the meds today, or how is she feeling today, or what's going on, you know, and always having that panic button going, you know. So it was kind of a weird, like,
it's almost like
a moment of
it
calm.
wasn't really happening.
Yeah, it's weird, especially if they're your own age. It's not like you're going to a grandparents or a great-grandparents, because it almost seems more natural that way, and it seems like, well, it just seems better, but it was hard. I mean, I was little, so when she was sick, I didn't fully understand what was happening and how bad it was until she passed away. So, I mean, it was hard, but then I was almost not really able to. It probably wasn't as hard on me as it was on Mom and Rourke, just because I didn't. What?
I think that's what we all say, you know, is that's what we kind of all went into that mode of exactly what you're saying now. It's like, oh, it has to be harder for them, so I'm gonna.
Well, I'm not saying it had to be harder for you, but you guys just understood more, like that it eventually was going to happen when she was sick, just because of the point it got to.
And I got angry again. And I thought, there needs to be more done. We can't just be a fashion show. We need to be fighting for these kids 365 days a year, 24/7. And so I made a promise again to Eden that day. And I promised her, I'm going to do everything I can.
Yeah, I think the mourning of a child is the absolute worst thing anyone could ever feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I'm packing for college, we're applying to be an official 501c3. Then we got the 501c3. We started planning other events and really teaming up with the community. And people, again, kept coming into our circle and just wanting to support. And I don't think it's by luck. I really don't.
What are we doing this morning?
Well, it is 8:10 and we are at a 5K for NC4K. We can start stretching out a little bit. It's freezing. That's Ohio weather for you. I haven't worked out in a while, so this is going to be interesting. But I'm ready. And these are going to blow away. Happy Easter.
You want to pass out candy?
We're going to hula hoop here in a little bit too. We are at the Columbus Zoo at their eggs, paws, and claws. And it has been madness for the past hour, but good madness. I hope and pray that we have enough of everything today. That rhymes. Alright, I need 4 people for a hula hoop contest. Do I have to be bigger? Woo!
Okay, go get the little hula hoop.
Yeah!
Go get a hula hoop. Go.
Woo!
Go, Em.
Alright! I have another hula hoop. Hold on.
We're just practicing. You can play. Here, Samuel.
Alright, what's your name?
Allison.
What's your name, sweetie?
Emily.
What's yours?
Brianna.
Okay. Alright, girls, spread out. Whoever lasts the longest wins a prize. On your mark. Get set. Go!
Come on, 3 more people!
I need 3 more people! That was smart. She's like, I'm not gonna lose. There you go. Do I have 4 new people for the hula hoop contest? Today was a blur. We ran out of candy about 2 o'clock. We did a lot of face painting. But it was a good day. Lots of people took our little cards. We even had a few people say, I know somebody with childhood cancer, so that's really great from a family standpoint that we can reach out to new families. Our volunteers were great. I would say the highlight of today would be from like 10 to noon. It was just like having a blast. Like we blasted music, we were doing the cha-cha slide, so it was a good time though. I'm glad we did it. We are having our first model event and we're at Skate Zone. We're gonna skate our tushies off. Yeah. Who wants to make predictions of how many people show up? We can play the Price is Right.
Price is Right? Okay.
You go first.
I'm gonna go with 75.
75? I will say 50. What's your guess?
I think there might be 100 people here.
Now whoever's the closest that doesn't go over wins an awesome prize. Why is no one here?
Maybe they don't want to skate with us. I don't know.
This is my mad face. Okay, I'm gonna go outside and just go on the freeway and wave people in.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not happy. Not happy.
Phone's ringing.
Well, we know what not to have next year.
A skate party?
Yeah.
All right, ladies. You want to go get skates, girls?
I told him it's like riding a bike, right? That's hard work.
Are you having fun?
Yeah. At least somebody showed up, right? I think he's gonna run the meeting tonight. Okay, so the fashion show's 92 days away. Not to freak anyone out. I'm gonna be vulnerable for just 5 seconds. I had a little meltdown yesterday. Just really stressed. So in these next 92 days, I'm really gonna count on everyone pulling their weight. More than ever, this year is just really big for us as an organization, and I don't want to miss out on such a big opportunity. The show's already sold out. Tonight, I really want you guys, feel free to speak up. Nothing's set in stone until we walk out of here tonight, so don't feel like if I'm making suggestions, for the people that have been there, or if you've been to other charity events, let's talk about all of that. And talk about all of these yellow Post-its up here. So I'm going to explain what they mean, and then we're going to go through and piece by piece put it together.
Like the OSU pep video, it should go right into like the models coming out with high upbeat music. I don't think we should go from to oh sad hair.
It's gonna be
Out footballs. Do we want to go right into those band and cheerleaders? The cheerleaders are in the audience. They're tossing them up, going like this.
Perfect.
You have the band coming out, and then when the last band member comes out, then before the call to action, they need to know why they're here. Is that just a video? Do we go into maybe we break up the hero walk?
With that little 3-year-old girl.
Yeah, we showed that. We just showed that.
Yeah, that's fun. Oh, no. Yeah.
The one that cut her.
Cut her hair, yeah.
Her little voice is.
I know, it's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's stay on this call to action piece so we can write some. So can you write on there underneath it?
That's all. We just got another 20. We just
I just can't guarantee.
I don't know how
you
you
can
do it,
that
though.
yet. It's just
I can.
Get that in there.
I think I'll.
Yeah. Sort of thing.
It'll be
And
confetti.
pretend you don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna play a song on your guitar?
Okay.
That was a one and done kind of
You got
thing.
it? Is that no, that's good because that's pretty close to where that one is.
I got involved with NC4K through Diane, who is the board president. She is actually my aunt.
My position with NC4K is the president of the board, and I've been that since August of 2013.
Well, I think that my title is family service coordinator. Not really sure if that's 100%. But my main task is to do all of the family requests. So that will include our monthly financial requests for any bills. That could be also a social worker calling and asking for zoo passes or just a fun day out for the family. It could also be our Christmas program, our back to school program. Anything that has to do with the families directly, I kind of head that up as much as possible.
We protect our dollars very carefully. There is a process that we go through with financial giving to families, any of our programs, but the core of what we do are the gas cards, the mortgage payments.
Do they have to scan these?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're all different amounts.
Okay. Okay, probably shouldn't put them in here then.
Yeah. We'll put them in there after. The first two are $200. Need $200 worth of BP. And then I only need one Kroger card. And I can hunt them out in for that. Okay, perfect. All right, set. See you tomorrow.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have fun.
Bye. So we're supposed to be there right now to pick it up, but that's okay. It's just
okay.
It's across the way. This is my life. Make sure we have sauce. Yes. Okay, I see it. Perfect. Okay. Let everything go, and anything that wasn't right is just gonna be how it is. And one year, our bartenders didn't show up. That was fun.
You saw that at the meeting.
Yeah, that was really fun. So we were running around saying, "Are you 21? Great, come with me." And no one knew though. Like we talked about it like after, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't have bartenders?" So I mean, it's just how it goes. You need to just work with it.
All right. I need, yeah, you. Can I get you two?
I started having the idea of having another big event, not to replace the fashion show, but to complement it. And so many people and so many organizations have done galas. Some people, Gala, and it's a fancy name for basically a wedding without the wedding. There's food, there's drinks, there's music, and it's just honestly a good time. But the nice part is you can charge somebody, you know, a higher ticket price because they're willing to pay it because that's what galas do. And so I thought, we need to have a gala. And we already had our Columbus Zoo partnership developing, and they have been awesome in the sense of they have a Fighting Faces calendar that is actual local pediatric cancer patients that they photograph with animals, and then they sell those calendars and we get half of all the sales. And you know, the partnership was going to just be that. And so in one of our meetings I thought, if we're going to have a gala, what about the Columbus Zoo? Like, how cool would that be to have it at the zoo? So I'm meeting with Shannon, and you know, we already were building the relationship, and I thought, would you guys be willing to host our first ever gala? And she's like, ooh, what's that? That sounds like fun. And we just started from there, and they have been unbelievably generous. Like, sometimes it doesn't even feel real.
You got it?
So this is going in here?
No. Put this up here to the hole. Okay, now the hole on the other side is where that goes.
You only got one shot. Well, might as well do it right. This is our first one.
You're pretty calm.
Am I?
Yeah.
Am I pulling it off? Okay.
I would have said so. Yeah.
Okay, good.
How you
Welcome
doing?
to Africa. Thank you. Isn't this amazing?
This
We
is
finally
like every last
pulled it
detail.
off. It's beautiful. Seriously, there was like all hands on deck, and it was like cookies need to go on the table.
Oh my gosh.
Programs.
It's just beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Good, I'm Ryan from Channel 10. Nice to meet you. Would you mind talking to me real quick?
No.
We'll go out, we'll get you out in the sun so it's nice and bright.
Hopefully a draft comes up and.
We'll get the well, I can see that one right behind you, so we'll set you up right here.
Can I go actually to my back so I'm not squinting? Is that possible, or is that worse for you?
It's worse for me.
Okay,
I mean,
I'll squint.
it sucks the squint, but
That's okay.
otherwise you look like
That's okay.
everything's
I kind of figured as soon as I said that.
We'll just set it on the ground.
Okay.
Just don't go running away.
Okay.
Tonight.
We're at the zoo in the new Heart of Africa exhibit, which you don't even feel like you're in Columbus, Ohio. It's insane.
And is this first for you guys?
So our fashion show is our annual event. So this is a new fundraiser that will be an annual event as well, in addition to the fashion show. And we're calling it our NC4K Gala, a night at the safari. And this is a night at the safari for sure. Let's get that. Did you get a Band-Aid too? Hi! Hi! How are you? You look so fabulous. Little activities. Thank you. Am I sparkling enough?
Ladies and gentlemen, Nellie from Holland.
I feel like I'm having a Taylor Swift moment.
You definitely need to get
No.
more for.
Don't give somebody too many options either. I
Yeah,
would say 3.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Now, if you want the volunteers.
So 2 meetings ago, we put together the actual production part of the fashion show, which is behind you, and it's also on base camp. Hopefully, in a perfect world, it goes that way. It's not like 10 o'clock, because people do get antsy. But people have complained about it being too short, and they've complained about it being too long. So I'm hoping that this is kind of that happy medium. I want to talk about volunteers that evening and during and before. We actually are going to go ahead and come in the night before. I know we said that we weren't, but we talked to the venue and we said, well, we're going to go ahead and come in the night before because Bart was coming in the night before. So it's kind of a nice thing. We want to take advantage of it. We still have to pay for it, which isn't the fun part of it. But it'll at least be a stress reliever to get everything in. So anyone that can be there that Friday night, we can't start loading in until 9. Will you throw those away for me?
This is not a gift card. This is your actual
Oh,
card. So
I'm sorry. I thought you handed me the gift card.
No, I threw that away.
Okay.
I threw it one in. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Lydia is. Yes. This is Lydia. Yes.
That would be. I was English on the calendar. You know what I mean?
I'm just filming. You can move. I'm not taking a picture.
I got chocolate devotion.
Ooh.
Every pocket tomorrow, so you can take it with you.
No, I need it.
It's
I'll have.
We'll realize how much is even there.
Hopefully, you just want to tweak it a little bit. Maybe like wait to hear about the jacket. that's such a nerve-wracking part because she's like, we worked hard on it, come on. Like,
I'm Julie. Yes. I do the family side.
Joel.
Joel, hi.
That's Dina. So they're my kids. Yeah.
Are you? Okay, great.
What are you?
No.
I think we're giving a lot of business to Cold Stone. I know it is. I thought about at one point going outside, but I wouldn't want to miss anyone.
So when do you get back from your vacation?
June 30th. I'll be in the office. So we have the one day to get it. I can answer you on email. Okay. When I'm gone. Okay. Like.
How you pay
Tell my
hugs?
boss pays me.
How you pay hugs?
Props of working for a
Right.
nonprofit.
Right.
I mean, I'm always looking for donors. I'm always looking for sponsors. I'm always looking for volunteers because those are indirect donors. I mean, that's your time and that's so valuable. So that's why we work 80 hours a week because, you know, you got to keep the lights on. You got to keep the requests coming in and the requests fulfilled. And so I think passion has been a huge factor. People can see that I'm passionate about this, that there is that need. And so I think we just did our annual report for last year, so we're trying to carry ourselves like a big nonprofit. And I think that has helped show how serious we are about this cause and these families. And the donors have been a two-way street. It's been a lot of people coming to us. That is the biggest compliment ever. The Columbus Zoo, you know, approaching them and not knowing what we would get in return. We just wanted a partnership, and it has been the most beautiful partnership we could have ever dreamed of. And I think the biggest strategy for me is getting in front of people.
You inject it before you...
Yeah, it's like a, okay. We will go ahead and get started. Super excited. Fashion show is 15 days away. I am so tired. Oh my goodness, this is a very rare shot. No makeup, hair, a mess. I have no food in my apartment once again, and there's a bazillion amount of laundry. Not complaining, but just putting things in perspective. Yeah. And this look is very fashionable. So Starbucks is gonna get me through the day, and there's a million things to do today because it's a week out. I stayed up till 3 getting things done, and that's just what you gotta do, man. I mean, when you don't have a lot of staff, you gotta do it. So definitely not complaining, just again putting things into perspective of how much time things go into, you know, events and what we do, and how sometimes it's not always glamorous, as you can see. Yes, can I have a venti iced white chocolate mocha with no whipped cream and then an extra shot of espresso? And then just a blueberry muffin. Okay. It's gonna be $7.75. All right, thank you.
Nellie is just a ball of passion. She believes in what she's doing. She believes she can make a difference. She doesn't understand the word no. She thinks that if she has a dream that she can fulfill it, and up to this point she has. She has a heart of gold, and she would do anything for these kids that she possibly could.
Keeps on going. She does not take no for an answer very well. She's not bullheaded. She's just very determined. When she wants to do something. She's going to do it, you know.
Very much so. Okay, well, this needs to be done, and then this needs to be done, and then I need to work on this, and then I need to work on this, and this is just how we do things, and we just keep moving.
about you. How are you? High five. Yeah. I need scene 2. Scene 2. Line up right here for me. We have one more here. First floor. This is Nellie's shop. Oh, that's Nellie's shop? And this will be Nellie's shop. This is all upstairs. I think we're good, actually. I'm good. It doesn't feel like it's tomorrow. Like, it really doesn't. It's weird.
Put this on that side over there. Stack this on top. And this goes all down to the model room. Model room downstairs. I don't know where that's. Straight downstairs where everybody's at. They're down there putting together boxes. Take it on down to them. Okay. Perfect. You can do it. I have faith in you. Downstairs, come on.
And then I lay my box sideways because then I lay them flat and I let gravity push them down. But these, well, they got more.
Yeah, she taped the sides.
Let's pull this down a little. Okay, sometimes I will tell you this thing's weird. You may have to print like this.
You know you work for a nonprofit when?
Yes. You should both have one row. Yeah, that's good. I have one. Yeah, you two have one right there. Okay. That's good.
You want a helmet?
Do we have a safety helmet? Glasses?
That's good.
Please take me to the Nellie shop.
Did you have her sign the waiver?
I won't sue NC4K, I promise.
I'm sorry.
No! Find your happy place. Find your happy place. We're gonna take them over here.
To the right?
To the left.
We just do what we need to do. I mean, it's not really about us. We have to sometimes take a step back and go, okay, just because I'm irritated about this situation, it's not about us. It's about the family. And we, 99.9% of the time we're reviewing and going over a plan or, okay, what about this or what about this? We have to stop and go, okay, but if I'm the mom and I'm in this situation, I don't want to do that.
With Violet's diagnosis, I lost my job that day. So we went to a single income family with medical bills piling up.
Most of the families that we have, generally mom has to quit her job. And when I hear people's stories of what, I couldn't imagine if it was me because I'm a single mom. So I'm like, if that was me, I would be in really I'd be in trouble. There's just no other way around it. Like if it was me and if it was my kids, I'd be in so much trouble as a single mom. I wouldn't know what to do. So when the families come and they are asking for help and, like I said, most of the time mom has to quit her job or take a very extended leave that, is not paid. I know that's gotta hurt. I know it hurts when you're a 2-income family and you have to go to 1 income. For people that's already had a struggle in their life, they already know what that is. So, you're going to make me cry and I hate that. No matter what their struggle is, when you have that kind of devastation.
NC4K has given people, and more importantly, kids and teens and young adults, a place where they can go that it's real, it's grassroots, they feel an instant connection with the kids, and they feel like they're giving back. And so when we became our own organization, we had to figure out what direction of a mission we wanted to go. Do we want to go the research route? Do we want to help families directly? And so getting close with a lot of families, they just start pouring out their stories to you. We can't pay our mortgage. We're barely, putting food on our table. Simple things in life that normal families and even, kids don't think about. And so when your child is fighting for their life, you should not have to worry about an eviction notice. You shouldn't have to worry about keeping the lights on in your house. You should be focusing all your time and energy and emotions on your child.
Obviously, she survived.
This is not exactly how I thought being a first-time mom would be.
In this moment, I feel there's still a lot of fear. I think that a lot of people assume that post-treatment is this celebratory, fantastic time. And the reality is you're never not a cancer family. You don't get checked out of the hospital and then they say, yay, we're never going to see you again. And that's, like you said, when you kind of have the moment to exhale and find whatever normal is, then you start to process. And that's when the grieving and the trauma comes. And then you don't have the doctors and nurses there every day to support you. So you kind of feel like we're not a cancer family, but we're not a normal family. And there's this weird gray zone of blah that happens. And a lot of the support goes away because everyone assumes you're done, you're normal, but we don't feel normal. You're still afraid.
Once you're out of treatment, that doesn't mean you're in the clear.
And I think being part of this community, some of my closest friends now are other cancer families, and we watch them relapse, and we watch them have to start the journey over. And it happens more often than not, and there are days that I wonder, does anyone make it out? She was fortunate enough to get a whole liver from a child.
And he finishes treatment.
December 31st, 2012.
December 31st, 2012, yeah.
That's awesome.
It is. So it's made a full recovery.
It feels really alone a lot of times, because you have a child who, you want a bright future, and you look at all the things that could happen, and you look at this list and try not to dwell on it because it gets bad. It could get bad. It could get real bad real fast. And as if brain cancer wasn't bad enough.
There's not a day in my life that goes by that I don't think about that donor family and what they had to sacrifice to let my child live.
He goes down for chemotherapy once a month.
Okay.
And it will continue through June 2016.
Okay.
And it's, he'll either get vincristine, which is a form of chemotherapy, or a spinal tap with chemotherapy in it.
I just feel like a normal kid.
Yeah. His hair's grown back. He lost it twice.
Yeah.
So people don't even realize that he's really even sick.
Yeah.
And really he isn't, because they consider most leukemia patients, their goal is remission within a month of diagnosis.
I thought it was pretty big at 5 years, but 10 years is pretty amazing. And he's only 11.
Yeah.
That's the sad part of it. He's only 11 and been cancer-free 10 years. So, but it's awesome that we've kind of we're past that treatment point, and we're now to the point of, we can be one of the families that people look to, the after.
What are you going to write? What do you want to say to Nellie?
Happy birthday.
What else can we... Oops. Whoa, that was a good toss. And what else can we say to her? Thank you?
Thank you.
NC4K really does love these kids.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes they don't even pay attention to the parents because they love these kids.
Yeah.
And I think they want these kids to know how much they do love them. And so Luke's sometimes kind of shy, but when he learns Nellie's somewhere, he's okay with that because he knows her, and she gets to know the families, and it was very easy to fall in love with NC4K.
The kids have been just so excited. They love anytime they get to do anything related to NC4K. And what's so cool with children is that if you bring Samuel, to sit down with you and you ask him questions, what he remembers about his treatment is that there were all these wonderful people around, and that people were showing him love and support. And Trinity, his sister, they were, not spoiled, but they were given things, and they were given the opportunity to do things and create these great memories in what otherwise could have been a nightmare of a time in their lives. And I'm so grateful. Like, it's unrepayable that what was forever probably the worst period of time in our son's life was very challenging for our daughter, is just spotted with all these fabulous memories, fashion shows and excursions and just cool little gifts from time to time. So there's help out there, and that's what NC4K is here to do, is to just be these like flashes of bright joy in the midst of what you're experiencing, and just be willing to receive.
What Nellie does, the way Nellie makes Allie feel, it's a heart shirt, she called Nellie her big sister. She said, that's my new big sister, and that she loves Nellie. She named her baby doll after Nellie.
She's not a doll anymore.
Is she a baby?
No.
Can you tell me her name?
She's Nellie.
Her name is Nellie.
Nellie! I'm gonna show the big Nellie.
The Christmas party came along at Magic Mountain, and I kind of surprised them with that, and we went over there, and it was just amazing. I mean, we were just totally blown away. It was such an awesome, huge party, and they don't get to go to places like Magic Mountain, and they were loving playing all the games and having pizza, and just it was amazing. And when we left, going downstairs and being able to go through the room and pick out presents for the kids was just overwhelming. I was just blown away. And then as we left, we had tickets to pull around the back and get whatever presents, and they just kept coming, and I was just in tears. I was sitting in the car, and my kids were in the back, and I just remember sitting there. I was just so overwhelmed, in tears. It was such a blessing, so unexpected, so amazing. And like I said, we were planning on not having Christmas presents at all, and it was just above and beyond.
So happy. It was like so amazing and so much fun. It just like made me so happy.
Yeah, it was like being a little kid, like not me, but like smaller.
I'd just like to see where it's going to be 20 years from now. It's been so much fun watching this whole thing just grow, and how many people and families
She has helped.
How
many people?
It's just phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
I don't want them to think it's all me. It's not at all. Yes, I had the idea. Yes, I work a lot on this, but there's people and companies and groups that really make up all the hearts to this organization, because I'm just one person. It would not be what it is without everyone involved. And so I try to thank people as much as I can, because they believed in me. And, I'm still young, and that just warms my heart so much.
They're playing games. By the cameras, there we go. All right, guys, smile. All right. Ava, what do you think of her dress? Her dress
It's a little sparkly, huh?
I made everybody, I made like 200 of these. Yeah, I made them. Hey, baby!
Hey guys, once you start for the band,
Come on. Hey.
You guys
We're excited. Yes, we're excited.
Of course we're excited.
You guys are handsome. Come on, let me see what you got. Let me see what you got. Oh, we got some. I don't know how to twerk. Does anyone know how to twerk?
Well, this is when the shaking starts. So even though I'm not nervous, my subconscious is nervous. So yeah, I'm gonna be shaking until I start on stage, and then I'm just numb for the rest of the
Well, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
High fives make me not nervous.
Deep breaths.
Huddle. Group huddle. Group huddle. MC group huddle. I love you guys. Rock it. Remember, just pause. Have fun with it. There's no pressure.
If you have a line and you just pause,
Yeah.
they're not gonna notice. It's actually
We're gonna rock it, right? Hands in.
Don't speak while they're applauding.
Welcome to the Scarlet and Gray NC4K Fashion Show!
I'm Hannah. I'm 13, and I'm a 6-year cancer survivor.
I'm Duncan. I'm Hannah's little brother, and this is my third NC4K fashion show.
What's up, guys? It's Nellie.
I'm William Gorgas, and this is my fourth NC4K fashion show.
I'm Riley, and I'm 14, and I'm almost a 5-year cancer survivor.
Who's ready for a good time?
OH! IO! Please welcome to the stage, Corbin. The doctors told Corbin he wouldn't be able to walk. And as you see, he is walking. He loves to snuggle and read books. His inspiration is other kids that are fighting cancer like he is. And now Corbin is in remission. Woo woo! Let's give it up for all of our heroes. This is why we're all here. We fight for these kids 365 days a year. One last time for all of our models. Weren't they fabulous? I love all their outfits. Let's see all these outfits. Oh my goodness. Remember guys, you're gonna face this way and you're gonna face that way. Let's give it up for them. Woo! Take a look at those outfits. Seriously, they came up with these outfits. We had no credit. That's how creative they are. All right, and for our grand finale, we would like you guys all to stand, and we are going to sing Carmen, Ohio. So if you know it, sing along. If you don't, I've heard watermelon. If you mouth the watermelon, it makes it look like you're lip singing. So there you go. We're getting ready for football season. You guys were an amazing audience. We'll see you next year. Thank you so much. If you have any silent auction items, make sure you get them. We love you. So we started the documentary, and one of my main reasons why I wanted to do the documentary is we don't have the luxury of people coming in and being able to see the families. Like if you were going to the hospital or Ronald McDonald House, you can instantly see who they serve. And so ours is a little bit more sensitive because you're, one, helping families financially, and that's very private to a family. And so we've tried to be careful with that. But as a donor, I'm a donor too. You like to see where your money's going. And so the documentary, we've only shot a fraction of the hours that we put into NC4K, but I'm really excited about this documentary because it really shows all the hearts that make up NC4K that I was talking about and how excited people get to get involved. You know, it's instant. We've helped families here in Central Ohio, in Ohio in general, and across the United States. And so there's families out there that need support. This is real. It's happening. 46 kids each day are diagnosed. And we want them to have a place to turn to for help, but more importantly, for hope.
We have a motto, we move as a unit, and you go, we go.
Don't be afraid to lean on others. Don't think you can take it on yourself, because you can't. So you need a support network. You need someone to lean on, because it's impossible to do it on your own. It will be the loneliest time. It will just make you can't do it. So don't be afraid to ask for help.
It's okay to have emotional break-ins.
Yeah.
Just don't be so hard on yourself. Don't think it's your fault. Just try and do your best.
Be aware. Be very aware. Just because they're doctors doesn't mean they know everything, and it's your child, and you know when something is just not right. You can feel it in your heart.
You know, seek the help for the emotional support. Even if, you don't feel comfortable with, any other support, seek the emotional support, because you need it.
Not getting ahead of yourself. As hard as the bad moments are to live in, you have to just stay in that moment and enjoy every second with your baby, even if they're not the best moments. Good moments do come. It's not all misery. We giggled in the hallways and played peekaboo, and we found joy in it.
You're not alone, obviously. It's happening a lot.
I'd say just stick through it, because you're gonna get there and it's gonna be wonderful.
It gets better.
Yeah.
It really does. I would say to keep being strong and keep happy.
Don't give up on the fight, because they're really strong and brave.
Just keep fighting. Keep up the good work. I would like to heal all the people who are sick and all the people who have cancer, and I would like to have the powers to do that.
Just keep fighting.
I would say that if we got enough people, if everybody hit their goal, it would be a whole hospital. Maybe they would have food.
Yeah.
I'm here for you.
Stay strong, because everything always gets better, whether it's a year from now, a month from now, or a day from now. Everything is always going to get better.
Hang in there. We're there whenever you need us, and if you need us, we're right there.
I would just tell them to stay as positive as you can, because if you're positive, then everyone else will be too. If you just keep smiling through it, and yes, you'll be bald, and yes, you'll feel sick some days, and some days will be hard, but I think just staying as positive as I could be was the best for me.
One second, my video is being.
Take it in, look at the view, and overflow with gratitude.
and overflow with gratitude, and overflow with gratitude. You can be anything you wanna be if you dream a little bigger. Don't be afraid to stand on your own 2 feet and hold your head higher. So take it in, look at the view, and overflow with gratitude, and overflow with gratitude, and overflow with gratitude. So take it in, look at the view, and overflow with gratitude, and overflow with gratitude, and overflow with gratitude. Da 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 da.